Lee versus Iaquinta this weekend. It's such a good card. It's such a good card. Dan Hooker versus Edson Barbosa on the co-main event. I'll get to that shit. Let me deal with the main event first. Kevin Lee versus Iaquinta. Amazing fight. Rematch. Number 2. Obviously, the first fight, Iaquinta got the decision. But we learned a lot from the first fight. We learned that Kevin Lee back then was not the Kevin Lee nowadays. He was just some idiot who thought he could throw hands. And a wrestler. And we learned that Iaquinta is the ultimate counter wrestler. Also based on his performance by Khabib. It's weird that I say that he's the best counter wrestler just based on the fact that he didn't get finished by Khabib. He still got taken down, but didn't get finished, so he's a good wrestler. Yeah. I mean, I don't really take much from the first fight anyway. If they were to rematch, I would have it a bit of a toss-up. I'd probably give the edge to Iaquinta again. Because if you remember in the first round of that fight, Iaquinta knocked Kevin Lee down. Then Kevin Lee tried taking him down, and Iaquinta got a heel hook, lost it. Then in the second round, Kevin Lee almost finished him with a rear naked choke. And then in the third round, it was back to just Al edging out a decision. Now, who do I think has improved more? Kevin Lee. I also think he's a hungrier guy. I think he's a savage, and just because he's an idiot and cringy, no one really takes him too seriously, which is silly. Which is very silly. Very, very silly. And I think he's going to do well in this rematch. Now, Iaquinta is a part-time fighter. Let's be real. He sells houses on the sides. He's only training when he's in training camp for a fight. If he wins this, it will surprise me. Now, what do we know? Iaquinta can crack in the first round. Big power. Kevin Lee, the chin's a bit suspect. You got a magnifying glass to that chin, see what's going on there, because something's just not quite right with that chin of Kevin Lee. I mean, he's not an iron chin guy, you know what I mean? He does get rocked, he does get hurt, he's been finished before for strikes, and he tends to get hurt in his fights, but he always seems to manage to find his way back into it. Now, I think that the 5 rounds has a huge impact on this fight, because Kevin Lee pushes the pace, and I think what he could do in a 3-round fight and a 5-round fight are very different, because he does like to push the pace, he does like to get on you, take you down. Now, I do think that Kevin Lee takes this fight to the ground, purely because you have to look at... This is the first rematch where I'm not looking at the first fight at all. It was so long ago, neither of them are the same fighter. Literally, neither of them are anything like they were in the first fight, so I'm not even looking at the rematch. I'm not even looking at the first fight, sorry. What I'm looking at is the common opponents. And when I look at what Khabib did to Edson Barbosa and what Kevin Lee did to Edson Barbosa in the division, Kevin Lee ruined Edson Barbosa, like smashed him. Khabib controlled Edson and landed good shots on top for the whole fight. Kevin Lee smashed Edson Barbosa. There was a moment when he was in trouble, he did a bit of the stanky leg. Edson Barbosa throws a spinning wheel kick, anything can happen. But for the rest of that fight, Kevin Lee was destroying Edson Barbosa on the feet as well. He kept coming forward, he was ripping shots to the body. Kevin Lee was throwing nice high kicks, not telegraphed, flicking the hip up. And I just think that Iaquinta doesn't have the hunger to be champion. I know that sounds silly because he accepted the fight with Khabib on 1 day's notice, but I just feel, honestly, that Al doesn't care if he becomes champ. I'm sure you guys noticed this as well, if you pay attention. He doesn't have the same hunger to be champ. I feel like he just wants to get paid big money. And it doesn't matter if that's with the belt or not. Or if he does want the belt, I'm assuming he wants it just for money. Because, I mean, you don't part-time fight if you want to be the champion of the world, It's just a given. However, I will say this. Kevin Lee has to be careful taking Iaquinta down, because Iaquinta... What Khabib does when he's on top of you, he completely nullifies any defense you have. He only puts you in favourable positions for him. There's no full guard with Khabib. You're never going to get full guard or half guard. You're always on your side and your legs are pinned under you and he's pushing you up against the cage. You never get a chance to get an offensive defense off from the back. You're never getting full guard. You're never getting a butterfly guard. You're never getting your legs up high on him. You're never getting a half guard. Side control, he's always in. I mean, I hope you guys know what I'm saying here. He's never going to end up in full guard. and stay there. You know, he's always looking for favourable positions, which makes it very hard off bottom, unless you're trying to get back up to pull off any submissions. Because I mean, you're not in any good position at all. Now, Kevin Lee does keep you in full guard, and Iaquinta has a nasty submission game, trained by Matt Serra. You know he's got some submissions. He's also got some good submissions off of a takedown. We saw him do that nice little heel hook transition when Kevin Lee did a single leg on him. I don't know how this fight's going to go, but I'd say Kevin Lee wins this TKO later on in the fight. That's my prediction. And also, let me just point out, I was right about Max Holloway, round 4 TKO. I was right about Shevchenko, boring, dominant decision. I'm feeling on a hot streak right now and heading to these main and co-main events. And I'm going to give it to Kevin Lee via round 4 or 5 TKO. I think if Iaquinta wins, it needs to be earlier on in the fight. But of course we don't know yet. I'd like to see the condition of them in the weigh-ins, but if I had to bet my money on it now, some guy's got a gun to my head. You'll give me fucking who wins the fight? I go, okay, Kevin Lee. First of all, take the gun away from my fucking head, you fucking terrorist. Then I say, okay, but in all seriousness, Kevin Lee wins it. Round 4 or 5 TKO or a decision. I think he's got it. I think the wrestling, he showed he can get the body triangle. He can try and submit Iaquinta in their last fight. But I think the main difference here is Kevin Lee's striking and how much more confident he's going to be on his feet. Because before he was just trying to run at Iaquinta, get a hold of him, land some shots just to pull up the guard so he can get a double leg. And he just got caught for it. But I think this time his striking is going to be a bit more patient. He's maybe going to feel out the first round, and then he's going to start working his game. And I think that the full-time fighter will beat the part-time fighter, part-time real estate agent. That's how I feel. Good fight, though. I mean, you got Iaquinta coming off a loss to Khabib. Say what you want, it moved him up in rankings in the division. He was ranked number, 13. He got signed to fight Khabib, he moved up to number 11, and now I don't know what he is. He's probably moved up again. If Kevin Lee wins this, it puts him in a good position, and I'd like to see Kevin Lee call out Conor. Conor doesn't have a fight yet. No one's called him. There's perfect moments where you need to call a guy's name. When he hasn't got a fight, just because you've said his name and all those people have seen it, that's great promotion. That's like a free, this guy's just given us a free 10,000 buyers. You know what I mean? Off that one little speech in the Octagon, we'll take him then, because he's over everyone else in the division now. So Kevin Lee would be in a great position after this win. I don't think he moves up in the rankings at all, because Dustin Poirier's earned his spot above him. So is everyone else above him. But I think this is a good fight for him. I don't know what he does next, though. Because he's stuck in a weird position. There's such a log jam at 155, and adding Max Holloway to the mix is just going to add it even more. So maybe Kevin Lee, if he wins, calls out Max Holloway. I don't know what Iaquinta does. I'm going off the assumption that Kevin Lee's going to win. Just because he looks so dominant recently against Edson Barbosa. I think we see that version of him again, and he just completely smashes in Iaquinta's face. I think it's better for the division as well if Kevin Lee wins, because he looks the part, talks the part. As cringy as at times he's not actually that bad at trash talking. When you look at some people in the UFC do their fake shit, I mean, he's still got a bit of swagger to him. As kind of annoying as he is, he does it quite well, you know. So I respect it. And yeah, great fight. The co-main event's also very interesting. I'm gonna break that one down now. So I'll see you later. I don't know what to do. I keep doing poses to try and get a good thumbnail, but I don't know what to do for him. I don't know. See you later. Like and subscribe. Thanks for all the support as well. I'm literally gaining subscribers off of just posting videos now. So I'm just sitting here in my room wanking to my analytics on YouTube, just fucking splurging all over the keyboard. Anyway, see you later, guys.